fact, this carving up of China represents the culmination of what began with those first chests of opium. A sovereign nation has been reduced to a geographical space where foreign powers compete for advantage, its government too weak to resist, its people too divided and demoralized to unite in opposition. But beneath the surface, something is stirring. A new generation of Chinese intellectuals, many educated abroad or in Western-style schools, begins to question not just foreign domination, but the imperial system itself. They see the Qing dynasty not as the victim of Western aggression, but as its enabler through corruption, incompetence, and failure to modernize. In tea houses and universities, in secret societies and overseas communities, they debate China's future, reform or revolution, constitutional monarchy or republic, westernization or Chinese essence with Western techniques. One young student puts it bluntly, "The foreigners shot their way in with cannons. We must build our own cannons to shoot them out again." The simmering discontent boils over in 1900 with the Boxer Rebellion, when rural militias rise up against foreign influence, particularly missionaries. Initially supported by the Qing court under Empress Dowager Cixi, the rebellion becomes yet another disaster when a multinational force of 20,000 troops from 8 nations crushes the poorly armed Boxers and occupies Peking. The resulting Boxer Protocol of 1901 forces China to pay yet another crippling indemnity, 450 million taels of silver, more than the government's annual revenue, to be paid over 39 years with interest. Foreign troops gain the right to be permanently stationed in Peking. The final humiliation of the once mighty empire is complete. You're in Shanghai in 1909, talking with an elderly tea merchant who has lived through the entire century of humiliation. Despite his 80 years, his mind remains sharp, his memory clear. "I was a boy when the first Opium War began," he tells you, sipping his tea with a slightly trembling hand. "I remember the pride we felt, the certainty that the barbarians would be driven back into the sea. How could it be otherwise? We were the Middle Kingdom, the centre of civilization." He gazes out the window at the European buildings dominating the skyline. "Now look at us. Foreigners rule our cities. Our emperor is a puppet. Our officials are corrupt. And still the opium flows, though now we poison ourselves rather than being poisoned by others." Is there no hope, you ask? The old man is silent for a long moment. "There is always hope," he says finally. "China is old. Dynasties rise and fall. Foreign conquerors come and go. But China remains. We have absorbed the Mongols, the Jurchens, the Manchus. Perhaps we will absorb these Western barbarians too, in time." He couldn't know how prophetic his words would prove. Within 2 years of your conversation, the Qing dynasty will collapse. The 1911 Xinhai Revolution will end over 2,000 years of imperial rule. The last emperor, Puyi, just 6 years old, will abdicate. China will begin its long, painful transformation into a modern nation-state. But the legacy of opium and the unequal treaties will continue to shape China's development and its relations with the world. The new Republic of China inherits a country devastated by addiction, divided by foreign spheres of influence, and traumatized by a century of humiliation. Even as the Republican government struggles to unite the country and resist Japanese aggression in the 1930s, opium remains a problem. Warlords grow rich from taxing the trade. The Japanese promote addiction in areas they occupy. Government efforts to suppress opium compete with the need for revenue and the reality of widespread corruption. Not until the communist victory in 1949 will China finally, effectively end the opium epidemic that began with those British merchant ships in the early 19th century. Through harsh suppression, mass treatment programs, and fundamental social reorganization, the People's Republic will accomplish what the Qing dynasty could not, the eradication